Hi everyone, my name is Stella Tsai, and today I'm going to talk about the mercury contamination. And the objectives of this project is there are four parts. It is explore the history of mercury contamination in Grand Strait, Hoboken, and find the original reasons of the pollution. And then we will try to find the most effective regions due to this environmental pollution. And then we will analyze the environmental and health impact of mercury contamination. And finally, we will talk about the government actions to deal with the problem. And I divided my project into five parts: as background, environmental impact, health impact, actions taken, and summary and reference. So for the introduction, I will ask the three questions. That is what, origin, and that is how. For what, as mercury is a chemical element and is the only known material element that reaches a liquid state under standard conditions for temperature and pressure. Mercury also devastates ecosystems and is toxic to wildlife and humans. And for the origin and how, the site was contaminated as a result of over 15 years of production mercury vapor lamps and mercury connector switches from 1910 to about 1965. So free-flowing liquid elemental mercury was observed between flooring layers throughout the formal industrial building. And also here is the timeline of this mercury contamination. And between 1910 and 1965, the electronic company manufactured mercury vapor lamps in the building at 722 Grand Street. And first, on January 1995, pools of elemental mercury were found in a five-story factory building that had been converted to residential use in Hoboken, New Jersey. And in March, a private consultant for the Tenants Association found detectable levels of mercury vapor in units on all five floors. And in October, drops of elemental mercury were observed in fourth floor units. And on December 15th, NJDOH was noticed of these findings. And on December 29th, the Hoboken Board of Health, NJDOH, and ATSDR provided residents with results and impression of the urine tests and urged residents to relocate as soon as possible. And on January 3rd, 1956, ATSDR issued a health consultation report. And on January 4th, the city of Hoboken condemned the building. And on January 12th, EPA finished the screening. And after 40 years, like in 1993, the building were purchased and converted. And after the timeline, let's talk about the regions. Actually, you can see in the map, this place is the Grand Street Mercury site, and it is located at 720 and 722, 732nd Grand Street in Hoboken, New Jersey. And now let's go into the environmental impact part. And I divide it into two parts. It is the on-site contamination and off-site contamination. So in on-site, here are soil, air, and sampling of building structures that were impacted from this contamination. For the soil, the mercury was detected in every soil sample at concentrations ranging from 0.77 to 290 milligrams per kilograms. And for the air, the mercury levels in bathroom are far above normal. And they used the X-ray, and they found that the mercury were penetrated wooden components in the roof and wood support beams. And for the off-site contamination, the soil, the average concentration detected was below US EPA's residential risk base. And the US EPA have taken actions for the physical and other hazards. And now let's move to the health impact part. So let's see, here is a graph for the urine mercury level. What we can see is that in October 1955, the level is from 11 microgram per liter to 65 microgram per liter. And on 22nd December, the test result shows that the level is from 5.7 to 107.2. And also here is a picture about the change of mercury level in grazing zone areas. So for the change, what we can see from picture is that the level was rising from March to October, and from October to December, it slowed down, but all above the standard level, because the standard level was 0.3 microgram per cubic meter. So the association among exposure, urine mercury level, and health conditions. I found research about this, and let's talk about this. What we can see is that for the exposure, which is above 8 micrograms per cubic meters, and for the urine level is above 100. it can cause high probability of develop tremor, arrhythmia, proteinuria, and for exposure from 25 to 80 for the urea level between 30 and 100, it will cause detectable tremor, cytokine disorder, and impaired nerve conduction velocity. And also, why this disease was caused due to the mercury explosion. Actually, mercury affects the central and peripheral nervous system and the kidneys. So, common behavior symptoms of mercury toxicity include depression, irritability, exaggerated response to stimuli, excessive shyness, insomnia, and emotional instability. And urine mercury concentrations greater than 56 micrograms exhibited neurotoxic effects such as decreased performance on verbal concept formation and memory tests. And fine tremors in the fetus, eyelids, and lips are early signs of mercury toxicity. With increasing exposure, tremors in the hands and arms may interfere with precise movements and impair skills such as handwriting. And also, let's talk about the actions taken by government. I just summarized the 6 key points. Let's see. The first is that when the contamination was discovered, EPA worked closely with local health officials to relocate residents living in apartments. And then the agency secured the buildings and conducted an investigation to determine how best to clean up the site. And also, the EPA ordered GE to demolish the buildings and remove the soil from the former industrial property and residential properties. And also, the Department of Justice and state of New Jersey has also proposed a settlement with GE requiring the company to pay $3 million, which will be shared by United States and New Jersey in proportion to each government's past response costs that have not been reimbursed. And EPA placed the site on the Superfund program's national priorities list in September 1997. And EPA took the site off the national priorities list in August 2007. And here's a summary and reference. So the Brand 3 mercury site in Hoboken, New Jersey involved a significant cleanup due to long-term mercury contamination. And for this, I just conclude some suggestions to prevent similar issues at other sites and ensure safe, sustainable land. We should do regular monitoring and maintenance and set up strict industry rules. And here is the reference for this project. Thank you for listening.